Hi everyone, today we're going to look at 3 key events in Ethereum 2.0 with Bitcoin recently setting a new all-time high, and then information about Spark, the airdrop associated with XRP. But starting with one of the biggest events in recent times, as I mentioned with the Ethereum 2.0, just to backtrack slightly, for those who are not familiar with this or are just new to the space, what is Ethereum 2.0? In a nutshell, it refers to interconnected upgrades that will make Ethereum more scalable, secure, and sustainable. These are being built by multiple teams across the Ethereum ecosystem. And now, a new feature, and probably one of the most exciting aspects, is that people can contribute to the network and get rewarded with free crypto in return in the form of staking. So this information here from Staking Rewards, we have almost double the minimum amount that was required to help launch Phase 0, so at nearly 1 million Ether in this deposit contract for you to get your staking rewards. I want to jump back to this piece just to show you the enormous interest that occurred in such a short period of time. So if we look at this graph here, it says the last 25% of Ether needed to trigger the contract was deposited in 4 hours. In one day, we had 150,000 new ETH being deposited to help finally get Beacon Chain up and running. With the launch of this as of the 1st of December, so there's more information there. I just want to draw your attention to this resource. It's a very comprehensive guide from Staking Rewards, everything you need to know about staking Ethereum. Just a few key points here, scrolling down. For those that would like to stake, just some food for thought, because of course there are always risks involved. So this is what you need to factor in. All ETH staked during the initial Phase 0 of the Beacon Chain rollout is locked until the current ETH1 chain is folded into a shard on ETH2. I know this is quite abstract and we've got new people to the space, and welcome if you've just joined. This whole sharding concept, the purpose of this is to get less congestion on the Ethereum network and to improve the number of transactions per second. And this is critical at a time when we've got so many companies, organizations, and even governments utilizing Ethereum in some way, shape, or form. Back to the staking part, this is currently planned to take place before Phase 2 is rolled out in the next 12 to 24 months. It's possible this could take longer than that, so do be prepared. Sending ETH to the Beacon Chain during Phase 0 is a one-way street. This goes through the numerous phases involved. So in a nutshell, the Beacon Chain, Phase 1 shard chains, 1.5 migration of ETH1 to ETH2, Phase 2 state execution, and this covers the Casper Proof of Stake consensus. A key consideration here, if you want to become a validator, you need to have the minimum of 32 Ether, which at the time of making this video, just for simplicity, if we say $600 per Ether, it's a solid $19,200 worth of ETH that you need to have in one account if you just want to be staking independently. Otherwise, you can join a staking pool, though you need to make sure, pick one that is reputable, and with time, this will become easier to determine. Depending on the number of ETH that are being staked in this contract, the rewards can be up to 23%. Realistically, at the moment, it's at around 16.62%, although as I expect, what I think will happen, as time goes on, this will drop. I don't know at what level this will reach. There are some incentives to actually locking up some of the ETH in this contract. However, as I touched on earlier, the staked ETH is locked up until Phase 1.5. Considering the delays involved in even just launching Phase 0, this has been discussed for a solid 3 to 3.5 years. So, as always, and I've said this with various cryptos, you should only invest what you're willing to lose. And if it were me, I would diversify. I wouldn't solely pour my money into Ethereum. There are so many wonderful projects out there, or cryptocurrencies to support. Just as a disclaimer that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, none of this is financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Additionally, please do your own research before potentially investing in cryptos. The last point in regards to staking says funds may get slashed. Stakers face the prospect of being slashed, in inverted commas, or permanently compromised in the event their validator behaves in a provably destructive manner. So that is to say, double signing or surround voting. Within ETH2, the slashing penalty is related to the concurrent total amount of underlying slashed funds. So if it's just one person with 32 ETH, the penalty could be rather low. But if you're dealing with a larger operation and the provider is not acting accordingly, this could have a detrimental effect on everyone, all of the individuals involved in this staking pool. The take-home message is, if you are using a staking provider, you should be checking their integrity and how well they can operate at this larger scale. And there's more information here in this very detailed piece. Thank you to Staking Rewards for providing this. I came across this, it's like an open access journal article. It's titled A Memo on the Proof of Stake Mechanism. This talks about proof of stake to proof of work, covers Ethereum, Casper, goes into quite a bit of detail, and there'll be various journal articles if you want more technical details from independent sources. The ETH2 Launchpad has information as well about how to become a validator. I plan to participate in one of these pools, or at least assigning X amount of Ethereum, whatever I'm willing to lose, and seeing how that all pans out. But I'm biding my time just to gauge what experiences other people are having with this whole process, because there's more. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I recommend using the information at ethereum.org or even Staking Rewards. They will cover an assortment of cryptos available for staking, and then you can calculate the anticipated returns on investment. There's one last point before moving on from Ethereum, just to emphasize, and I touched on this earlier, the various stakeholders involved in Ethereum, or those that are keen on using its infrastructure and incorporating this technology into their daily processes. It's called the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, the largest enterprise Ethereum ecosystem. Over 200 organizations supporting the EEA across numerous countries around the world. Some of the board members, some major names: Accenture, Santander, Intel, Microsoft, JP Morgan, and some others. Moving along to Bitcoin, a major milestone for the Foundation crypto. A few days ago, BTC hit a new all-time high, and there's a piece from Decrypt. Here's why it happened, or their take on it. This is after 3 years, Bitcoin has now finally set a new all-time high. According to this, and there'll be some discrepancies, but along the lines of $19,783. The last time this occurred was set during the meteoric rise that we experienced back in late 2017. Although a clear distinction between this event and what happened back at the time. Here we have plenty of interest from institutional investors, and this talks extensively about it. I'm just identifying a few of these huge players in the space. It says here, this all started when MicroStrategy invested $250 million into the crypto on the 11th of August 2020. And then about a month later, that was bumped up to $425 million. The following month, Square, the company run by Jack Dorsey, and then he's also involved in Twitter, says Square followed suit, investing $50 million, or 1% of the company's total assets, into the Foundation crypto, and he's purchasing several Bitcoin a week on this ongoing basis. These two, coupled with the major announcement we had with PayPal getting involved in the crypto space, or specifically for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bcash, and Litecoin. I've covered a separate video about that. This Exodus piece, which talks about it and gives you their thoughts about that. I know this is enormous news because of PayPal's clout, their global reach, but personally, I'm still a fond believer in this whole proof of keys, not your crypto. Having said that, most people probably don't care, and they would just be happy to be able to own some amount of Bitcoin, even if it was through a third party. I mean, each to their own. It's still positive news nevertheless. As people get more involved in the space, I think it's important they should have some understanding of how this all works. Having some control over their crypto, or at least a major portion of what they're holding. There should be an understanding of public and private keys and how the whole system works. But anyway, that's a separate topic for discussion. Some more positive news, just thinking of institutional investors. There is this article here from AMB Crypto, and there'll be numerous sources talking about this. Guggenheim Partners may be the next big player to bet on Bitcoin. So this talks about plans to allocate over $500 million, or about 10% of its net value at the time of recording this, via the Macro Opportunities Fund, and this is through Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Here is a link to the official website for their trust. It says, a bold opportunity in the era of digital gold. This term is thrown about quite a bit, and rightfully so. I see this is playing a key role in being a useful store of wealth. Anyway, there's one more point in relation to this, just to emphasize how much weight people are throwing behind Bitcoin, and even with Ethereum to a certain extent. From the Daily Hodl, former Goldman exec Raoul Pal placing huge bet on crypto, moving 98% of portfolio to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, a couple of things. This is thrown around quite a bit on the interwebs. I've seen other crypto commentators speaking about this extreme greed measure or value I know it's been like that for a bit now, but this does not throw me off. And the main reason for this is it ties in with everything I just spoke about with the massive amount of interest from various institutional investors. And that's just simply one cohort of the population showing interest. There are retail investors such as ourselves, which I believe will jump on the investing bandwagon once again as the BTC price rapidly ascends to 50k or potentially even 100k. It's just you will still have many everyday people that are reluctant to get involved after the major crash back in 2017. Again, just my opinions, not financial advice, but I could be wrong. Hopefully they get back in earlier than usual. Moving along, this from TradingView. So for those not looking at the screen, it's the BTC USD crypto chart and the historical price, or the information there. Well, this website would have quite a few technical indicators or the info for technical analysis and all of that. As a summary, if you look at the technical section here, it's still saying buy. This contrasts this guide here with extreme greed. I know that saying from Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful, or something along those lines. I mean, despite this, that would not stop me from accumulating. I think the prices are only expected to increase. You look at the scarcity. Just to reinforce all of this, if you go to the Bitcoin block reward halving website, it will just show you that the inflation rate is becoming smaller and smaller as we're approaching the 21 million maximum supply. And we're seeing a general uptrend after all of these halvings that occurred. So just to backtrack slightly, earlier this year, we had the Bitcoin block reward halving. So the inflation rate of BTC is at now 1.8%, which is lower than many developed countries. In another 3.5 years' time or thereabouts, this will drop to less than 1% and will become lower and lower until we get to the maximum Bitcoin supply. You consider all of the institutional investors that are showing a keen interest in Bitcoin, coupled with about, say, probably 4 million Bitcoin that have been lost, and much of this being locked up in wallets, and people holding onto this as a long-term investment. There's not much floating around. There's a very limited amount to be purchased when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things. Now, moving along and talking about this highly anticipated Spark token airdrop for those that hold XRP in an active wallet, there's this information here from Status Crypto, and a thank you to Dario for this as well. If we scroll down and have a look at some of the relevant information, first and foremost, please be careful with it's got here fake ledger domain names. Be careful if you see ledger.com and there's a dot under the letter E. Legder.com, they've inverted the D and G, and I actually came across a scam email in relation to this, so please be careful. And ledgersupport.io. Use only the original domain ledger.com. Bit of a crypto PSA, thanks again to Dario. In relation to the airdrop, we have, according to this, 40 exchanges, 10 wallets, 3 fintechs, some other companies as well, providing support for this airdrop. So several exchanges have jumped on board. Just to name a few: Binance, eToro, Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Poloniex, Kraken is up there, and as Uphold is becoming more popular too. Bithumb is another common option. I know CoinSpot is an Aussie-based one for those listening in Australia. But anyway, you can also claim the Spark through a Ledger wallet or EliPal, Exodus, Garda wallet, and some others there too. I'm surprised Trezor is not listed there, but at least there are plenty of alternatives. There is a notable omission from this list of exchanges. You could probably guess who it is as well. It's Coinbase. This piece from Decrypt, it's likely too late for Coinbase to give XRP holders free crypto. Now, this is from a few days ago. Although having said that, I came across this other piece here from Blockchain News. According to this, it says Coinbase and Kraken will not benefit, or essentially just not participate. Although based on the infographic I just spoke about, Kraken is now listed here. So this is as of the 2nd of December. A couple of quick points here before giving you a market update. This is a piece from Binance. It says Binance will support the Spark airdrop for XRP holders. So there's details there if you have XRP on that exchange. And this piece, once again from the Daily Hodl, Ripple planning aggressive expansion of XRP remittance platform in 2021. If there's a way to help boost on-demand liquidity or the Ripple product there, that will in turn help XRP. And I've made a separate video specifically about Ripple and XRP if you're interested. This segues into the market update. XRP has had an astronomical month. It's up about 169% over the past 30 days or thereabouts. 190% for the year. So much of this growth just over the past 3 to 4 weeks. So it's now hovering about the 60 cents range. It got up to about 72 or 73 cents, albeit momentarily. I think this was last week. I think this is definitely worth holding. I've made a separate video talking about some of my favorite cryptos for 2020. I'll be giving you an updated version shortly. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at the crypto prices, courtesy of Coin Paprika. Just refreshing the page, focusing or starting off with the biggest winners and losers over the past 7 days. Decred up 65%, Aave, or there's Lend token and the new Aave token, just below $85. Yearn Finance up once again despite the massive drop, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. 45% up for the past 7 days. One of these DeFi cryptos, I don't actually have money in that. I prefer to focus on others just whilst I'm at it. Nexo up 41%, Kusama as well about 40%. Hex and Ampleforth approximately 47% up, and some others listed there. Looking at some of the biggest losers over the past 7 days, Seal down 25%, Thornext just below 13%, EnergyWeb or EWT 11%, Crypto.com down 8.4%, Ontology and Amaze Go about 7.7% down, Cosmos as well 6% down. But let's look at some of the higher capped cryptos. Bitcoin is just above $19,000 per BTC, showing some form of stability there somewhat. Fingers crossed we can get above 20k in the coming days. Ethereum $590 per Ether, XRP 62 cents, Litecoin $86. It's also done really well this month. Chainlink $14 per token. ADH below 16 cents. That's Cardano for those who aren't familiar with it. Polkadot $5.40. Binance Coin just above $13. Stellar has been doing very well alongside XRP. Both have jumped up considerably over the past 2 weeks, just above 18 cents. So look, that is a wrap. Actually, a couple of things I want to point out. There's always a lot of information to cover. For those who want to see an interactive map of Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency flowing around or throughout the world in real time, a really cool interactive chart. This is courtesy of Fiat Leak. An assortment of cryptos provided here, numerous trading pairs or these fiat currencies represented there. And on a lighter note, last but not least, as we are now officially in the silly season, Blockonomy has this piece, top crypto gifts for the 2020 holiday season. Starting off with crypto books are definitely the way to go. I haven't read any of these, but I know Andreas Antonopoulos is a very knowledgeable man in that space, and he has some good videos too. But if you want to rug up as it's winter in many parts of the world and you love your Bitcoin, why not get yourself a pair of Bitcoin socks? I do not have them. But anyway, you can't go wrong with hardware wallets either. And other information there. That is a wrap for the video. What are your thoughts about everything I've covered throughout this? If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest content. If you have something to say, by all means, leave your feedback in the comments section. Share this with anyone who you believe will find this useful. I hope you're all staying safe and you're all doing well. Thanks again, and talk to you soon. See